welcome back guys to my YouTube channel. This is Primex Editions, and today we are going to create an awesome animation using HTML and CSS, as you can see it. So it's something like kind of a space, and we have the two spaceships, and we have a rocket moving. So this is only HTML and CSS. There's no added JavaScript, believe me. Some people are saying that I use JavaScript, but I don't. It's HTML and CSS pure, and this is what we are going to be creating today, as you can see. So we're going to start off, and welcome to the channel. Subscribe, like, share, comment, do everything, and leave a comment on the code that you want me to do. So we open our Visual Studio, the code editor that you are using. As for me, I'm using the Visual Studio code. So we are going to start by actualizing our first div, the div which is the div space. So we are going to create a div space, and we're going to put our first image. The first image that you saw, the rocket that is the image source. And I have a couple of pictures in my folder, so remember to put a couple of pictures in your folder. I have the Rocky one, Rocky, the back, and the background. So I'm going to use the first one, the first rocket. I'm going to actualize it here. That is Rocky.png. I'm going to give it a class and call it, for example, Rockety. You can call it whatever you want, as long as you're going to style it with that. I'll give it a width of 150 pixels, a height of 158 pixels, and I'll end that tag. So the first, we are going to see it's the first image, and I'm going to reline this. So as you can see, we have the first image, the first rocket, and the reason that it's going is I've already given it a style, so I'm going to remove the style here. I had already styled it. So if you're starting the project, it's actually going to look something a little bit like this, with no background, without anything but the rocket. Then after that, we're going to create another div for the second image. I'm going to give it a class of ship, the first ship that we are going to use. I'm going to call it ship 11 or ship 11. You may call it whatever you want. The image source, I'm going to give it the Rocky 1. As I've told you, I had the images before. Rocky 1, Rocky 1.png. I'm also going to give it a class. I'll call it ship 1, our first ship. I'm going to initialize a width of 250 pixels, a height of 158 pixels, like that. Save. And I'm also going to create the second, because you see we had three images. We had the rocket, the first ship, and the second ship. So I'm going to create the second ship. Div create and call it ship 22. And I'm going to initialize an image source Rocky1.png or Rocky2.png. I'm going to give it a class ship2, so as to distinct it from the first ship. I'm going also to give it a width of the same width that I gave the first one, the 250 pixels, and initialize the height of 158 pixels. That way. So if you run your code, it's going to look something a little bit like this. Yeah, and I can see that I don't have the second image. Sorry about that. It's supposed to be Rocky 1, so sorry about that. Yeah, so if you run your file, it's supposed to be something like that. They are not moving, they are just pictures. So to make them move, That's where the CSS comes in. So mostly we don't use JavaScript. We're not using any script source, any script files we're not using. As you can see, I've not initialized any JavaScript on top of here. So I'm just going to link my CSS file, of which I had already done a little bit, but we can go over it step by step. So we have the body, we have the class body that I took. You have your body tag. The body tag, I gave it a background image of the back, an image, the background repeat, and the background size. We have our div, the first div that is space. This div here, that is space. We gave it a margin top of 6 pixels on top here, and a margin bottom of 0 pixels. So from here, I'm going to comment that out so that we can go over it step by step. So over here, I am going to link, so you are supposed to link your CSS file. So in order to style that, index.css. So in actual self, it's going to look something like this. So in actual sense, it's going to look something like this. The images are not moving. So I've just put the background image, as you can see. That is here, the background or repeat, the space. Then we are going to take our first shape. Our first shape, as you can see here, shape 1, the first shape. It's what I'm going to style. So we are going to give it a margin top of 123 pixels from the top. And here is where the movement comes in. We're not going to use JavaScript, it's pure CSS. So the animation name, let me comment that out. So the animation name here, and comment this out, kind of like that. So it's for us to go step by step. So the first animation, we're going to give it an animation name. We're going to call it animate, as you can see. Animation iteration count, infinite. So actually, this is the actual code that makes the movement happen. This is the actual code that makes the movement to occur. So as you can see, we have the animation direction, the normal, the animation direction, 7 seconds. Then we are going to use the keyframes, function found in HTML. That is, so we are going to call our function name, the name that we put here, and animate, keyframes animate. At 0%, we're going to have the first shape, as you can see here, the first shape that we named with our class. The first shape, we are going to have it at left 0% and opacity at 0.8. That is what making it to move. At 100%, we are going to give it a margin left of 1500 pixels and opacity at 1.2. So if you actually run this code, the first shape is supposed to move. I don't know if you are seeing that. That is what that happens. That is the code that is making the images to move. The first shape is supposed to move, the shape 1, the one that you initialized here. So we have given it a keyframes. So remember this is the function that we are using. It is a function in CSS, it's inbuilt. You can use it. First, you give your class a name, that is animate. I gave mine animate. Iteration count infinite, so that it keeps moving on and on and on and never stops. That's why I gave it the infinite. We have the direction, that is normal. We have the inherit function, the timing function. We have the duration of the movement, and the play state that is always running. That is the first one. So we come to the second shape. The second shape, also we did the same. The second shape, we made it float right. Animation name, we gave it as the first one suggested. We gave it an animation 2 because this is already one, so you cannot name them the same way. So we gave it animation 2. Animation iteration count, we gave it the infinite. The direction, we gave it normal, inherit, 7 seconds, and running. Then the keyframes animate, we gave it the also what we did up there. At right, it is 0, opacity 0.8. At 100%, we gave it a margin right of 1500 pixels and opacity at 1.2. So if you run this code, the second shape is supposed to move. This is what we are seeing, as you can see. And because we gave it an infinite loop, the ships will always be moving. At no point will they ever stop. The ships will always be moving, as you can see. So this is the part we are using. So this is the most important part. Yeah, this one. This is what that is making the parts to move. And as you can see, we are giving it a name, a play state, the duration, timing function, and then we are calling the function here. It's like a function, but not in JavaScript or any other language, but in CSS, the cascading style. And so then after the second ship, we are going to style the first rocket that we never styled. Is the first rocket here, the class that we give it the rocket. So we are going to say, we're also styling the rocky. We are giving it a margin top of 0 pixels, the rocky, as you can see here, 0 pixels. So we are going to take our class, the image. Remember, you're taking the image class, not the image itself, the image that initialize the class here. So the class is very important. So we are going to take the rocket team. We are going to give it an animation as the first, as I said, an animation. We're going to call it animation 3, but I made the code a little bit simpler. You can also, but it will also work. Animation 3, 5 seconds, the time, and the linear infinite, that it will always move. Text decoration, I gave it none, and a margin top, I gave it 0 pixels, sorry. Then we took the keyframes animate, that is the 0 at 0%. We have it at left 0 and opacity at 0.5. This is what that keeps it the left side. This is what we are calling the left 0. It will always start from here. That is what we are calling the left 0 and opacity. So at 100%, we have the, let me comment that out. At 100%, we give it a margin left of 2012 pixels and opacity at 1.2. So if you run this code, we'll have the movement of the first rocket. So guys, that is what we are creating for today, an awesome image. And as you can see, I have not used any JavaScript, any other language, Java, Python, or anything. It's just pure HTML and CSS, as you can see. Nothing else, it's pure. So the source code will be available down there, and as you can see, step by step, we have created an awesome animation. So guys, that's all we have for today. Remember to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, and don't forget to comment what you want us to do in the next project. So carry this out. The source code, I'll provide it. It will be in a link in the description. You can copy the code, run, or do anything. So remember guys, you can do actually this with any images at all. If you want to create a hover effect, we have videos for the search bar. We have videos for the awesome image gallery. I just posted that video not long time ago. So subscribe, like, share, view, comment on any video that you want us to do. That's all we have for today. And thank you.